Alright, cowpokes, the title is a little bit of an exaggeration, but this beautiful game called Red Dead Redemption 2 genuinely saved me out of a rut, and I thought I couldn't get out of it either. This game really changed who I am today. It's weird because this is my second time playing this game, and I'm 20 years old right now. The last time I played this game was when I was at least 15 or 16 years old, like around when the game kind of came out. I remember playing the game for the first time when I was going through a classic teenage breakup, and it got me through it though, I'm not gonna lie. But flash forward to a couple years later, it did the same thing for me, but in many aspects, and that is what I am here to talk about. A little backstory real quick, 2023 was probably one of the most difficult years of my life, guys. I went through an really extremely rough breakup. I was fucking up in school, I was going from job to job, I was bullshitting at life, and I was just getting more and more out of shape and distancing myself from my friends and family most of the year. I was also smoking weed a lot, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do with myself this entire time. After this year though, I told myself I was gonna be better and do better for myself, but I did not really know how to, do that or where even to start. A week into the new year, I decided I was going to re-download Red Dead Redemption 2 and play through the entire game again. And that was like the best decision I could have ever made so far. To give a brief background of the game, you play as this character named Arthur Morgan, who is an outlaw, part of the Dutch Van der Linde gang. I hope I pronounced that right. This game has a lot of moral decisions to make, as you have a moral scale in the game. Basically, it's called honor. This moral scale determines different outcomes in the story and in the ending. I, of course, went with every possible positive or good outcome to any mission I could do. I don't know, with any game that has an honor or a moral scale, I always tend to just do the good side. I just can't see myself doing the bad, whether it's Fable or BioShock. I've always done the good. With that being said, you can see a lot of character development in Arthur Morgan. He begins to be bitter and very loyal to Dutch. He'll do anything he can for the gang, and that would mean group robberies, killing people, and even fishing.
I asked that gal to give me some. She says wait till the taters is done. I couldn't wait till the taters was done.
But throughout the story, more people in the gang start slowly getting killed. The outcome of every plan Dutch has nearly always results in a disaster. And worst of all, there's Micah.
Always full of sunshine. Old Misery Guts Morgan.
Slowly throughout the game, you could definitely see the distrust Arthur has for Dutch with all these decisions. Later in the game, Arthur got diagnosed with tuberculosis. Yeah. He basically got this for beating up a man that owed the gang money, and the guy coughed in his face, I'm pretty sure. It was then when Arthur started to realize everything about his life. He didn't like most of the things he's done, and he even has his own regrets. Arthur wished he could change his life, but he knows deep down that for one, it's too late, and two, maybe this was what he was made for after all. It was so clear to see Arthur do better, not truly for himself, but for other people in the end. He started seeing the moral compass of Dutch slowly begin to go. Dutch was unrevealing his true colors. Mr. Morgan wanted to help people and do better by people because that's all he really had left in this world. The redemption was truly there in his character by the way he acted out and talked from the beginning of the game.
We already owe more than it's worth.
Then sell your wife or your family or something. We ain't your idea of charity.
To the end of the game.
I hear the last of them is holed up at Hanging Dog Ranch.
I don't have it in me no more. I saw Colm swing. I just don't care.
Most importantly, he helped save John Marston and his family too, especially when Dutch did not want Marston to be around again after he went to prison from the failed bank heist in St. Denis. And also during a train robbery, Dutch claimed Marston was dead, but in reality he wasn't and just wanted to leave him behind. And this was when Marston got shot and fell off the train, by the way. One last moral change I saw in Arthur was when he wanted to help the natives, and he knew what was happening to them from the US government, and he knew that it was super wrong. He offered to be by Rainfall's side the entire time, and he did not agree with what Dutch was trying to do to Rainfall's son, Eagle Flies. He was manipulating his anger so Dutch could profit off it in the end. During that mission, when they raided the oil place, Dutch basically left Arthur to die in one scene, in which Eaglefly saves him by sacrificing himself for Arthur. In which Arthur did kind of, save Eaglefly's life a couple times too, by the way. By the end of all this, the gang had a falling out, and of course Micah Bell was being an instigator and trying to be all goody-goody with Dutch, just for it to later be revealed that he ratted the gang out to the feds. In the end, Arthur fights Micah off, but ends up sadly passing from it. And it's not even truly that Micah killed him, unless, you get the bad ending, of course. But he mainly dies because, tuberculosis and gets in a fight. He's running all the time. Like, honestly, Arthur did a lot with tuberculosis, man. What a legend. But anyways, when Arthur passed, he got what he wanted, which is, if you did good the entire game, it shows him dying in front of a sunset. Truly an emotional and beautiful way for Arthur to die. Then there's the epilogue, which basically takes place with John Marston, and that ends up turning into Red Dead Redemption 1 eventually. But hey, at least Micah finally died.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
So now that I gave off a nutshell of Arthur and the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 briefly, let me explain how this game changed me by the end of it. Just like Arthur, I didn't think I could change, and I was deemed to be like how I was forever. Bitter, sad, angry, and even distant. Morally, I did not care about myself and anyone around me at the time. I felt like my honor was super low just by how I acted to everybody and myself. One day I woke up and I knew I had to change, and that life was very temporary, and I wanted to try and be the best version of myself for not only me, but for everyone around me as well. Just like Arthur, I was inspired to go on my own journeys and even side quests to meet with new people and just to get more out of life right now. One of my favorite aspects of the game is to literally do side quests and be introduced to different people and even get good out of it too if you can. Not only that, but the game inspired me to get out of my house more and just explore, drive around, and even if I'm alone, I'm a more adventurous person now, and I started making more friends doing that. I started hanging around family more and even started taking extreme risks, just like Arthur Morgan did. I mean, to be fair, the entire game he was, risking his life and everything. But anyways, now I have a new job that I really like. I actually have had it for a while now. I'm back in school and I'm doing well. And most importantly, I'm keeping up with my hobbies and my people. In terms of being heartbroken as well, I just want to quickly mention Arthur Morgan's story one more time. He has every right to be how he truly was, because for one, he lost the opportunity to be with the love of his life due to his lifestyle. But he eventually had to accept that and had to move on and change, morally at least. Also, later in the story, it is talked about that he had a child who was murdered in a house robbery, which is extremely sad. It's really depressing. With his love life, I related in a way where I can't really be with the person I was with before because of our two different lifestyles and our ways of not being able to change on how we want to be for each other, specifically me. And even if I am to change and if I'm changing as a person current day, I still have to accept the reality that I have to move on with it. And in terms of losing his kid, I can't relate to that, I'm not gonna lie, but it was something to obviously mention. So yeah, this was basically the story on how Red Dead Redemption 2 changed my life in a way. Obviously there is so much to talk about with this game, especially in terms of details and more plot to the story. But I thought I could talk about the stuff I related to and what I was inspired by personally. That is why I use Arthur Morgan's development as a character. By the way, if you did the low honor storyline, I know for a fact that shit is not canon at all. Also, shame on you. Shame on you. Anyways, that is the video. And thanks to whoever listened to this for real. And peace. Next video is going to be about the Binding of Isaac.